Okay, so today's lesson, and I need you to write these notes down, are on compound inequalities. So if you think about a compound sentence, that's two sentences put together. A compound inequality are basically two inequalities put together. So you're going to be solving two in one. So it's not as hard as you think it's going to be. There are two types of compound inequalities. There's your ands, and there are your ors. Okay? Ands are sometimes written with the word and. So it's got two separate inequalities and the word and in the middle of it. I'm going to show you an example in a minute. Most of the time, they're written together. Okay? And a lot of times you'll see them as less thans. So you'll hear your math teachers, particularly your high school math teachers, say less than and, greater or. So the next ones are the ors, and they're always written separately. But they may or may not have the or between them. But if they're written separately, most of the time they do have the or between them. Okay, so I'm going to give you a minute to finish taking these notes, and then we'll show you examples of each. Now, before I get into the example, when it says that the ands are written together, that includes the answer. And I'm going to give you a little visual to help to remind you. Now, I know when y'all were little, because when my kids were little, I took them to the grocery store. And we were going down the aisle, and they were constantly putting stuff in my buggy. So they wanted cookies and chips and sodas and ice cream and peanut butter and toys. And it was all going together in my buggy. And I stopped them and I said, no, you can have chips or cookies. So ors are separate, always separate. Ands come together. So I'm going to show you what that means. So you think about and going in that buggy, all going in together. And me saying, no, you can have this or that, separate. So let me give you an example of and inequalities. I'm going to give you two types. I'm going to give you the one with the and between and the one without. Write it down. Okay, so you have 7x is greater than 42, and 6x is less than or equal to 54. Do you just see two separate problems there? Okay, you're just going to work them as two separate problems. So how would I solve for x?
What does it say, LEX?
It says 6.
That's what I'm on. Oh.
It's a 6. Now, how would I get the x by itself over here with the 7x greater than 42? Divide by 7. Now, my inequality, I'm not dividing by a negative, so there's no need to flip the inequality. Okay? What would I do here? Divide by 6. Now, excuse me. I've got to write this as one answer. Okay, pay attention. This is going to be on Canvas later if you need to look at it. What is my smaller of the two? The 6. What's my bigger of the two? The x is going to go between them because remember these go together. Ands go together. Now, I'm going to give you the reason why and then I'll give you the shortcut. X is greater than 6. So 6 is less than x. x is less than or equal to 9. When you write these as one inequality, both of these should be less thans. Less than and. Okay? So you may actually have to flip it when you're rewriting it if your x was on the left and now it's on the right. Okay? Let's look at this problem. This is without the and. You'll see it is written as 1. Do you see what I'm talking about? As 1, coming together. Not two separate, it's an and, because it's written as one problem. Now, first of all, I want everybody to look up here. You've got two separate problems in this, but they're combined. Just like if you were to write a compound sentence, you really have two sentences that are combined. But look right here. That's one of them. You may want to put a box around it. This is the, well, let me back up and make sure I get another color. This is the other. Do you see the two problems? They both have the middle with them. So you've got one that's 20 less than or equal to 4x, and then you've got 4x less than or equal to 32. Now, what would you do to solve these? How would you solve for x here? Divide by 4. So 5 is less than or equal to x. Divide by 4. X is less than or equal to 8. Now we've got to write this as one answer, not two separate. What's my smallest number up here?
5.
What's my biggest? X is going in the middle. 5 is what? Less than or equal to x. X is less than or equal to 8. Are both of these less thans? Yes. Okay, let me show you one more. I mean, it's the same type, but it's not identical to this. This is a less than and. It's written together. I want you, when you write this down, to box in the two separate inequalities that you see. Just box them in. Put a box around it. Okay, you start at the left and take up the entire center. That's one of them. Then you start at this center and you go to the far right. So you've got 24 less than x plus 15, then x plus 15 less than or equal to 27. So the middle always goes with both of them. I don't care how much is in the middle. The whole thing between the inequalities. So I'm going to subtract 15 here. So that gives me 9 is less than x. Subtract 5. X is less than or equal to 22.
It's supposed to be 15.
Oh, thank you. That is a 15. So that is 12. Okay, what's my smaller number?
Whoa. 9. Alright.
9. What's my bigger number?
12.
12. What's going in the middle?
X.
X. 9 is less than x. X is less than or equal to 12. Now, let me show you an OR. You want to talk about easy?
The ORs are easier.
Easier.
That first one was real easy. Dang, how do you make it easy? They don't look too easy.
I have two separate problems. Because it's got an OR between it. Do they ever come together?
No.
No, they stay as two separate answers. So how would I solve for x here?
Multiply 8.
Multiply by 8. So x is greater than or equal to 24. How would I solve for x here? Multiply by 5. Or x is greater than or equal to, that's it.
So you just solve it out and not put it together?
That's
Oh,
exactly right.
Dang, that's a whole lot easier.
Okay? So, time's about out for our class today. This will be on Canvas later. We're going to do some practice the next couple of days on this. I had put a quiz on Friday, but I think I'm going to hold off on that.
Well, we got homework.
No.
Let's do it. Don't say bye to the recording.